So, never give up is something I've been thinking about for a few days now. It's kind of just been on repeat in my own head, mainly just because I've had a tendency of wanting to give up. And that sounds bad, but I'm sure there's a lot more people out there that really would agree on that because it's difficult to keep going with some of the struggles that go on in life and the differences, we may have with what's going on with the world, really. But I mainly think that it stems from having the trouble to understand a lot of the stuff that goes on around us and wanting to understand it, but also knowing that it is really difficult. Sometimes you just feel like falling flat down on your face, but that's not worth it, really. So I wanted to come here and talk about it and kind of just ramble on a few things that really have crossed my mind lately. And one being is I, wanting to give up is something that is a big struggle, but I know that I can't do that. And I feel like a lot of the times we feel like giving up is because we feel like we're failing at something or we're not doing something right or up to standards of what other people think. And the reality of it is we're all trying our best and we're all doing our best and we feel like we could do better. I know that there are ways to do things better, and there's some things that you just need to let go and you need to let them just let it do on its own, if that makes sense. I often think about the mistakes that I've made and how I could make them better, and realizing that sometimes you can't make them better. Sometimes when you make a mistake, you need to learn from it. You need to just grow from it. And when you grow from it and you learn from an inconvenience in your life, it will create a better version of yourself that you didn't know you were capable of creating. And yeah, sometimes the mistakes that we make can be pretty devastating, pretty crucial within our lives and our character development, but that's why it's character development. It gives us a chance to sit back and reflect on what we did wrong. And sometimes we do things great, and others just don't agree with it, and that can put us down as well. And there's nothing wrong with being yourself and doing what you think is right. And just because others think that it's wrong doesn't make them right either. So, giving yourself that time to step back and relax and reflect on what has happened around you or the choices that you have made isn't necessarily a bad thing. The thing about it, really, that does turn bad is when you sit for too long and you contemplate and you think to yourself, man, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. Why would I ever do something like that? That creates thought of you becoming something either you don't want to be or just gives you that mindset of I can't do anything right. Why am I even trying? And another part of me feels that the reason why this happens to us and why we are put through these certain situations is that so we can build as a person, so that way we are able to improve our lives and become better and not do what other people want us to do, because we should be able to do it in our own way. I often find that the people who complain about others the most are the ones that have already given up on themselves because they don't stop and sit back and reflect. They don't understand how or when to not say something that shouldn't be said. They don't give themselves the time to think about, hey, maybe this isn't right. Why would I say this? Is there really anything behind it that has meaning or value to it? And most of the time, the answer is no, because they've already given up on themselves and they feel the need to take it out on others. And the reality of it is you don't need to listen to them. You don't need to accept what they have to say. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but honestly, if you just ignore the people who try to bring you down the most, you're going to find yourself a lot happier in life. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to get down on yourself. All I'm trying to say is that giving up isn't really an option, and you shouldn't feel the need for that to be an option. I found that learning or enjoying something new in life can help a lot, an extensive amount. It will boost your confidence. It will give you kind of that room to breathe. You learn something, you grow. You give yourself the opportunity to do something better with yourself and with your time, rather than sitting around not doing anything at all, making it way worse than it has to be. I found that oftentimes when I'm overwhelmed or I feel like I can't do a lot right, or it is just straight up boredom that I don't want to turn into laziness that may cause something worse than it has to be. That laziness creates room that will tear you apart. It'll take you down. I've learned that writing plans down, keeping track of upcoming events, even going out and driving or finding something to do locally really does help with that self-esteem and not wanting to do anything. It'll boost that. It'll motivate you. It'll give you that little extra strength to carry on a little bit further, to get you out of this slump of wanting to give up or not wanting to do anything at all, because once you stop, it's hard to start back up again. So if you can find something that's a little bit easier to ease into, that will help you lift you back up on your feet and give you that sense of purpose again, it really does go a long way. But that's really all I have to say. I don't know if I could really go into more depth or detail about what helps or how you could change things. It's mostly personal experience. It's different with a lot of people, and I'm just trying to better myself along this journey, really. And it can be difficult. It will be difficult. But if we just keep trying and keep pushing, it will all get better. So always try to think positive. Try to think on the better sides of things. Yeah, one thing may not be going well, but that doesn't mean everything else is going to fall with it. You will keep trying, and you will eventually do better. No matter how long it takes, you'll dig yourself out of this hole.